Welcome back to the third and final segment of the Loveland Report and Lone Ranger Show. For over 30 years, I've been delivering your real estate news and your mortgage news alongside the Lone Ranger.
It's me.
And I've got some listings. We've been talking about numbers. We've been talking about buyouts. They're terrible. Don't do them. And we're going to talk about listings this segment and knowing your numbers, whether you're a buyer, seller, or landlord. First of all, Bruce, I got some great houses here. MetroWest, 3,000 square foot home, all single story except for the bonus room, all on one floor, ranch style.
Nice.
4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 3-car garage in MetroWest for $635. Solar panels paid for.
Oh my gosh.
Here's an interesting one, Bruce. Here's one that would be, you want some room to roam. I've got 50 acres for $500,000 and nothing can be built on it. It's right off the 414 and Apopka address. BMX.
Nothing can be built
Nothing
on
can
it?
be built on it. It's actually, it used to be a landfill.
Oh, I know that property.
So it's
that
a little,
used to be Alan's dad's property. I know that property.
Really? Okay. They've turned it into a landfill. Now it's all shut down. Now it's just a big grass mountain. For your BMX park, might be good for storage. You want to do some storage
So
there?
if you got an extra 500 grand laying around, you can put a dirt bike track out there.
10,000 an acre. Yep. So Extreme Motorsports Park, something like that. I've got a starter home for $360 in Rockwood Estates. That's Belle Isle. 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 1-car garage, plus a workshop for 1,800 square feet for $360. And then I've got a house with a bonus room, $440,000, 2,300 square feet, 3.2. The main house is about 1,700 square feet. And there's a bonus room out back, like a workshop, about another 600 square feet under air, 440,000 for that one. Great price per square foot. Does need a little bit of updating, but great property, plus a 1-car garage. And then I've got the Springs in Longwood. We're talking about the condos and townhomes. The fees on this one are $400 a month, but you got a live guard and tons of amenities inside.
Is that a townhome or a condo?
This is a townhome.
Okay.
So you own the land.
Big difference.
And it's an end unit. You can't see
Wow.
anybody behind you the way the house is perched. You're looking at a green space on your end unit. You're looking at green space, peacocks wandering around. $420,000 for that, 1,800 square feet, 20-foot floor to ceiling windows in that one. Great condition. Some renovations been done to it for $420,000. So call me if you want to take a look at any of those. 407-352-8118, Bruce. And I want to talk numbers.
Yep, let's do it.
I always want people to talk to you first. You're the most important part of knowing that do they qualify? Because if they don't have cash, which I see 1 time out of 20, I want them to talk to you and know the rate, know the payment, know that they're good. Because I have people most of the time on sign calls, Bruce, when somebody calls me on the sign or calls me off homes.com or something, I go, do you know what you want your payment to be? And they say 3,000. I'm like, that's a $700,000 house. Do you have 200 grand, 250 grand to put down? And they go, no. I'm like, all right, next part of the puzzle. You need to talk to Bruce and he'll get you set on that. So you know that. And then when I meet with
the numbers are clear. You can't fudge them. And now sometimes I do see competitors will send a quote to one of my clients and they leave stuff out. I'm like, I could do that too, but that's not business I'm in.
Yeah.
Why do I want to do that? You want me to surprise you at the closing so you hate me and give me a bad review?
But when you sit down with me for a buyer consult or one of my agents, you'll know what you need to put down, what closing costs will be, how we're going to structure the deal. All these things come into play. So that way, when you see the one, you're not scared.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes what I see is people don't get an education and they see the house they should buy. And I can usually tell after showing them 3 or 4 homes. I'm like, yeah, this is it. And then they go, oh no, I don't know. And they haven't gotten all their documents into you and they're not sure what their payment's going to be. And I can figure that all out for them. But even as a seller, I go see sellers sometimes, Bruce, and they don't know the house was listed before sitting at $450 forever and should have been reduced. And I tell them, if you sell for your list price of $419, if we drop the price and list it for $419, you're going to walk away with X. And they go, oh, that's plenty. And I show them what they're going to buy. They go, oh, that's plenty. So I've even sitting there with my iPad, I pulled up Dunwoody, Georgia to see what homes are selling for. Go, okay, you want to go here and downsize and get a little more land? This is what you're going to walk away with. This is what you can buy for. You're in the ballpark. They're like, oh, okay. Knowing the number, that's our job as the professional, helping them with that.
You need to know your numbers. You need to know your numbers, whether you're buying or selling. You should not be having any surprises. You really shouldn't. There should be no reason for a surprise on any type of transaction, unless maybe you're doing some weird creative financing that anything could happen at that point.
And I think with you, creative financing should be, how do we structure the deal? How much do we get paid in costs? What should we do?
Yep. That's why you call me, because I've got the ability. I know where the opportunities lie. I had a client call me up the other day. This guy's a realtor out of Tampa, and he's in big trouble. He's been late on his mortgage since October. Everything he's got on his credit is all late, bad, but he can sell his house, pay off all of his debt. Then he wants to have his mother-in-law move in, who has a lot of money, but he wants to buy $1.2 million house. Dude, you have a 485 credit score. You're not buying a new house. He says, can you fix it in 10 months? I said, nobody can fix that in 10 months. But here's what we can do. Get mom to buy the new home, put 25% down, do a DSCR, you rent it, you fix your credit for the next 2 years, and then refi it out on VA after you fixed your credit. He goes, oh my God, nobody's told me to do that. I went, well, that's why you call the Lone Ranger, man. 407-250-9144. Got another client comes to me. They said, Bruce, we want to buy a $650,000 house. We got to sell our $550,000 house. We have a mortgage on it, but we don't want to sell it till we buy the new one. No problem.
It's a nice position to be in.
Yeah. Except for they have they get Social Security and a small pension.
Yep.
Their total income was $5,000 a month. Their existing mortgage payment was $4,700, and the new one was going to be $5,500. So you can't qualify for that. So I look at that and I said, I'll show you how to make that work. He goes, really? Will the interest rate be high? I said, no. Be a regular interest rate, whatever the market is right now.
Is that your bridge loan?
How are you going to do? No, it wasn't a bridge loan. He had assets tucked away in a 401k. I showed him how I could take that money and turn that into an income stream. He says, I don't want to start withdrawing out of my 401k yet because I don't really need it.
Yeah.
I said, don't you worry. I got you covered.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's just the bank just wants to know, am I going to get paid?
I had one withdrawal was all it took. Close the deal. And then he can turn around and sell his house.
I just think that's what's really important about here. And the other thing, Bruce, on knowing your numbers, landlords. I had a couple landlords panic this week or this year, or let's say last 6 months. They panicked because they had the house for about 3 years. Economy's slow, work slowed down. I had one with a baby on the way, and he's not cash flowing on the property, but he's making the neighborhood's moving up, prices moving up. The mortgage is coming down slowly but surely. And I said, he panicked because he knows he's got about 80 grand in equity, and he wanted to sell. And I'm like, you don't need to sell. He's, I made no money. I'm like, how much did your mortgage go down this year? Oh, it went down about 5,000. The neighborhood went up about 15,000. I said, there's 20,000 right there. I go, how much? Talk to your CPA. Ask him how much this house saved you. Did you get a refund? He goes, yeah, I got a refund, a little bigger than usual. I go, I bet you that's because of this house. Call and find out that number. Then call me back if you still want to sell. He called me back and said, no, I don't want to sell. You're right. I'm making money on this.
What kind of crazy realtor tells somebody not to sell a home? One that cares about
his real estate plan. Yeah.
One that cares about you.
Yep. Thank
you. I guarantee you get on the phone, you go through the yellow pages here. Do they have yellow pages anymore? You go through the yellow pages, you find 10 realtors and tell them, I want to sell your home, but you already know you shouldn't. Find out how many of them are going to tell you shouldn't do it. Yep. Not very many. Cleve Loveland Properties, 407-352-8118. Chances are one of those property in your neighborhood has been bought, sold, or managed by Loveland Properties, one of the finest real estate agents in town. Then you got to get your financing underway. You call me, Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger, 36 years. This week in the mortgage business, 407-250-9144, or we bring you
an anniversary. You had a wedding anniversary too.
Wedding anniversary.
How many years?
Both my kids, 32 years.
So you've been in the mortgage since before you got married.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
I sure did. Yep. Met my wife. She was a real estate agent. How about that?
Yep.
So there's a story to tell you behind that. We'll tell you that behind the scenes because it's a little crazy. But
what do you think? What do you see going on with new construction, Bruce? You got a lot of builders in your fold.
Well, I do. I work with a lot of builders, and I think that they're in the same boat as everybody else, but they're doing okay. They're plugging along. They're not setting the world on fire, but nobody's setting the world on fire right now. You know who's making the opportunities right now? You know where the opportunities are? People buying homes right now because they've already settled down. We saw some reductions in prices. We've seen a reduction in interest rate, but we have such an abundance of inventory on the market that it's putting buyers in control. But you know what? Buyers they're fearful.
Yeah.
They're fearful.
Yep.
They hear the news, affordability, it's so hard for me. Forget the doggone affordability and get into the home. Now is a great time to negotiate that deal, but people are in fear. And my friend Warren Buffett, be greedy when others are fearful.
Yep.
This is time to be greedy, folks.
Yep.
Be fearful when others are greedy. Right now, sellers can't be greedy. The buyers can be
I've already
greedy.
bought 2 this year. I'm going to try and get 2 more by the second quarter.
I'm looking at some properties right now myself, and I'm helping one of your clients. It might be like a quasi commercial transaction. Don't do a lot of commercial, but I'm helping him out with a possible 6-plex. We'll see how that
goes. What I've seen with the builders is I was seeing lots of money going to closing costs. It's not quite as much.
No,
I saw some adjusting prices last year, fourth quarter, like prices down. They were adjusting them downward. And then now I'm seeing less for closing costs. You used to see 30 grand, 25 grand. Now it's 15 to 20 is mostly what I'm seeing. 10 to 20 is what I'm seeing mostly with some
10 to 20 is probably pretty typical, but some of that may be because the builder is paying $40,000 outside of closing that you didn't even see to do that rate buy down.
Yeah.
And when I say 40,000, I'm not kidding. You got a $550,000 house and you want to offer a 4.25% interest rate that's permanent. It takes the builder sometimes 8 points to get that loan down that low. So they're doing that outside of closing. The dilemma for that is you think you benefit from that lower rate, but you paid $80,000 too much for the house. That's basically what's happening.
Sometimes.
So you got to be careful. What I'm seeing Trinity doing is they will give you an option. They'll say, here's $25,000. You can use it all toward closing costs. You can use it toward a rate buy down, or you can split it. Call Bruce. He'll show you the best way for you to do it. That's what we do. And then we've got a bulk of money that we can look at it and go, which ones?
Well, that's right. Because some loans can only get a certain amount of closing costs, right?
Correct. There's limits to how much a seller can pay.
Yep.
So there's all kinds of things that we do to help. I got a buyer right now that was qualified conventional. I flipped him to FHA because the seller was willing to pay 6% toward their closing costs. You couldn't do it on.
So interest rates. You got great credit, or it's a VA or FHA. You're in the 5s, right?
We've popped up to about 6.1.
Okay.
Recently, can you get a VA and FHA loan in the 5s? Yes.
How are they doing? How are the DSCRs doing? What are the rates on those?
Well, that depends on credit score and down payment, because DSCRs really are based on the rent that the property produces. But I'm seeing right now on a DSCR that you can get into the high 6s and low 7s on those.
Great.
And you got to remember, you're not providing your tax returns. Most of these are self-employed people, savvy people. They don't want to give their tax returns. So they're either looking at a bank statement program or a DSCR. The DSCRs are super popular with investors right now. So those are programs where you don't need your tax returns. And here's the thing. We got tax season coming up. We're knee deep in it. A lot of folks that are self-employed want to buy a home, but they also don't want to pay $100,000 in taxes. I can show you how to do it without paying the taxes. Keep writing it all off. I'll show you how to get into a house. My name's Bruce Woodburn. They call me the Loan Arranger. 407-250-9144. Write that down. 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. Cleve, give out your information, my friend.
407-352-8118 for your real estate plan. If you think you want to sell something, buy something, mom and dad are going to assisted living. Do you rent that house? Do you sell that house? All these things come up. I've been through it all. Extremely big background in real estate for the past 35 years. 407-352-8118 or cleveloveland.com. We'd love to help you.
Yeah, so we're here. Cleve and I are always here. Listen, we don't blow smoke. We're not going to try to sell you something or get you to do something like some of these agents do. You just heard Cleve talk a seller out of selling his home. He could have picked up a big commission on a $400,000 deal, but he did the right thing. It's the same with me. Some of you call me to refinance. I'm like, don't refinance yet. Hold on. Some of you need to refinance right now. So get on my VIP watch list, and I'll tell you when the right strike point is. 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. God bless each and every one of you. Thanks for joining Cleve and I today. We really appreciate it. And join me tomorrow at 11 o'clock on WDBO. Same station. Talk to you soon. God bless.